Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Vu again. This week we're going to take a look at another way to display data, and that is called a stem and leaf plot. All you need is a pair of scissors to help you understand how to assemble a stem and leaf plot. The following is data collected about Ashland's basketball scores over many games. So this is Ashland's basketball team and the points they were able to score over many games. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these scores and put them in order from least to greatest. Now it's time to actually assemble our stem and leaf plot. It starts out looking like a T-chart. On one side is the stem, and on the other side, we call that leaf. The information for the stem and the leaf we're actually going to get from the numbers, the scores of Ashland's basketball team. So let's take a look. In one game, they only scored 2 points. 2 actually gets a stem of 0 because there are 0 tens and 2 points. We can do the same with 9. 0 tens and 9 ones. So far we can tell by looking at the stem and leaf plot that in one game, Ashland's team scored 2 points, and during another game, they scored 9 points. Next we have 10. 10 has a 1 in the tens place, so it's going to need a new stem. It gets a stem of 1 and 0 ones. 1 10 and 0 ones make 10 points. There's also another game where they scored 10 points. It has a stem of 1. We already have a stem of 1, so we don't really need this digit. But we have to keep the 0 for a second leaf, because this shows us that they scored one game of 10 points and another game of 10 points. Let's keep going. 12 points. We already have a stem of 1, so we don't need this one. Here's a leaf for 2. So far we have games where they've scored 2 points, 9 points, 10 points, another game where it's 10 points, and a game of 12 points. "14 points also has a stem of 1, so we don't need that. We just are going to put the leaf of 4. So 14 points, 1 10 and 4 ones. Here is 17. We already have a stem for 1. We need the leaf for 7. There's 3 games where they scored 21 points, so we actually need a new stem. We have a 0 tens stem, a 1 tens stem. Now we need a new stem for all these 20s that we have. Two 10s and 1, that's 21 points. 2 10s again, we don't need this stem since we already have one. And here's the leaf for 1. Another game where they scored 21 points. Notice that even though there are 3 games where they scored 21 points, you have to put the leaf for every single one. Let's keep going. 23 points in a game. $29 points in a game. We're done with all of the games where they scored 20-something points. Now we just have 31 and 52 points. So for 31, we're going to need another stem, 3 10s, and a 1. That makes 31. And notice that between 31 and 52, they didn't score any points in the 40s. So we don't need to write down a stem for 40s. We're just going to skip down to 50s. Here's 5 10s and 2 1s. So this is a basic outline for a stem and leaf plot. At this point, we can go ahead and finish off our stem and leaf plot. We have a stem column and we have a leaf column. I'm going to extend the leaf area just a little bit so I can finish off the table. Looks like this. It also needs a title. A stem and leaf plot also needs a key, just like you might find on a map of Texas or a map of the United States. A key. The key is going to help us decide how we're going to read the table. So if I have 2 with that line and then a 1, that tells me this stands for 21. This becomes important later on once we introduce decimal numbers into stem and leaf plots. Now let's imagine Ashland's basketball team plays another game. This time they score 105 points in that game. We need a new stem for sure because the last stem that we have is for 5 10s. Now we need a stem for 10 10s. 10 10s are 100. And then 5 makes 105. Notice that there is only one digit from each point score in our table. Now that our stem and leaf plot is complete, we can answer some questions about the data. For example, we could answer, how many games did they play? The easiest way to do this is to count all the leaves. They played 15 games. Remember, you don't want to count the stems as part of the games. The stems help us determine how many 10s are part of the score. We can also answer a question like, how many games did they score more than 20 points? So here is my stem with 2 10s, and I would just count all the leaves from here on down. 8. There were 8 games where they scored more than 20 points. Our stem and leaf plot can also help us make generalizations. For example, if they played one more game, how many points do you think they would score? I think they would probably score 21 points. By looking at my stem and leaf plot, 21 is the number that comes up the most often. So maybe their next game, they will score 21 points.